Okay, so good evening, everybody. Welcome to the intro. We are here back again this Tuesday evening from 7 to 8. And with me, we have Mr. Kenneth Surat and
Hi, good night,
myself, Lakesh
everybody.
Prasad. Good night, Ken. How things?
Yeah, we did another week.
Well, the topic I put on the description.
Mm-hmm.
The technical advisor like you tune on the Facebook twice, so you got a
All right.
feedback there. So we
Yeah.
should be in order now, Ken.
Yeah, no problem.
The topic this evening is what's after academic success for the blind.
Right, good point.
Right. So we're looking to work with that. I just had to play a little clip here that was sent to me by a parent. Tell me if you hear it, right, Ken?
Yeah.
1 second. Visually impaired. Track full screen. Button. 1 second to left. Next video. Forward tense. Play. Button. Speech off. Will Pilot. The advice from a visually impaired
Are you hearing it?
Yeah.
Examinations and walked away with 5 grade 1s and 2 grade 2s. Despite several obstacles along the way, Sebastian Ramsaran said determination and hard work was key to his success. The Nalala reports.
Once there's a will, there's a way. Sebastian Ramsaran, a student of Astra Boys College in San Fernando, says he felt his hard work paid off when he received his 7 CSEC passes on Monday. The visually impaired student received grade 1s in maths, biology, chemistry, and physics, with grade 2s in social studies and geography. Sebastian says it was difficult to prepare, but he was motivated. Yeah, I could see. It's just, I see everything smaller. I could see board. The textbook, the print on the textbook was too small. I couldn't see that. I had to use a device to see on books. When doing labs, it was harder to see the equipment, the measuring equipment. He has hopes of becoming an engineer, saying his love for science and support of his parents and school ensured his success. I did know that I had to put in more work than the average person to achieve these marks, but I knew that it could be done. I did have a liking to the sciences, so that to some extent made the work a little bit more bearable, a little bit more enjoyable, yes, but I was determined. But Sebastian is not just a bookworm, having been involved in martial arts and music from a young age. Since I am visually impaired, that I started from that age, I started relying more on my ears and my feeling and all the other senses. To an extent, I would like to think they are more heightened. As for transitioning to online learning, he says it was a blessing in disguise. Easier in terms of I had more free time. All the time wasted on traveling here and there was basically gone. Despite any challenges, he believes determination is the key to success for all students. Never procrastinate. If you have homework on Monday, get it done as soon as possible because it will pile up on you fast. Sebastian will continue his keep studies at Astra Boys and his passion for the sciences. Sonala, TTT News.
So courtesy TTT News, Ken.
All right, very good.
Right. That's the mom shared that with me just now there. I will share it on the chats on them so everybody will have a chance to look at it.
Right.
So that's young Sebastian Ramsaran out of Astra Boys College in San Fernando. And that's why the topic is so relevant today, Ken. What's after education or success, academic success for the blind? Because as you are aware, we have a lot of challenges, but we're working at it slowly but surely.
Right? Yeah, I think at the end of the day, people want to do something that they're happy doing, and probably could earn a living from it and take care of themselves, and be happy. So one of the key things there is to come back down to employment.
Yeah.
Because either self-employed by being an entrepreneur or either working for someone else, but you want to do something that you like. Not everyone might be entrepreneurs. entrepreneurs, but some might be interested in working for someone.
Mhm.
And the key thing there, sometimes someone who is blind want to be an entrepreneur, but people may not want to purchase from them. And B, someone might be interested in working for somebody, and people might want to employ them. And it goes back to this thing. Some people may call it affirmative action. But sometimes as we who purchase things, sometimes we might go for the cheapest. But sometimes we have to consider, if you purchase something, are we contributing to someone's development? So I think people need to start paying attention to what they purchase. For instance, they might have somebody in your community have a small business, might be bottled water. I give an example. But that person bottled water might be, you might say that too expensive, but I'll buy bottled water somewhere else. But the mere fact by buying that bottled water in the village, you could stimulate business in the village then. Because when that person make the money from, they might employ people in the village, and they might even spend in the village. Similarly, if you employ someone who is blind also, you check the value added then. You're adding value to, yes, you employ the person who's blind, but you can imagine how much you're adding to a community. So I think people should pay attention. Yes, not only look for the cheapest, but start paying attention. Look, how much am I contributing to someone's development, or a village development, or a country's development? In Trinidad, we might rush to buy a lot of things, foreign fruits, something, not knowing that if you buy local fruit, how much you're contributing to our own economy and gaining the same health, the vitamin C or whatever vitamin you may get from the fruit. So that will be my statement here, starting with people. You have a certain power in your hand, and how you use that power to contribute to development of others. And sometimes we must not only go for price, but also to know the value we added by the purchasing power that we have.
I remember having this discussion with Sebastian dad, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was telling me he believes his son can be whatever he wants to be, because he's a gentleman who has a work experience that is unique. And I don't think it's any man business, but I'm saying this, right?
Right.
And he would have met in his work, line of work, he met a blind gentleman who was a programmer for the specialized machinery that the dad was working on. And you see, while he was in that particular organization, what I'm talking about is not in Trinidad, right? It's somewhere else, right? And while he was there, the gentleman who was blind and doing the programming for the equipment was taking a call in some other part of the world, and booking a job to be there in about 4 days' time.
Right.
Sorry, not 4 days, in about within a week time now,
Yeah.
And he was making a point, your sight has nothing to do with your abilities. And I say, look, this gentleman, he already understands that the world don't want your physical strength. They want what you have in your brain, what you have in your head. And the world is built on ideas and innovation and so on. And it's not necessarily built on physical strength or your physical ability. And I always go back to the story with Professor Hawkins, where he said he had one muscle working in his face.
Yeah.
And he was considered the brightest man on earth.
Man, give the world so much love, so much demand give the world. But there's a key point you made in that statement. The mere fact that Sebastian's dad was exposed to someone who is blind at the right time.
Yeah.
It lifted his expectation for Sebastian. That is why I say inclusion, the benefits of inclusion, that you start sitting not from your point of view, but from the other person's point of view.
Yeah.
And that one makes, if we could stop thinking from our limited vantage point and always think about from the other point. You know, sometimes you tell somebody to do something, but find a way how you can get that person to do something for you that they are happy to do it, then you instruct them to do it. Because then you get a win-win situation where there's happiness on both ends. You get something done and the person is happy to do it. Similarly, no matter what, you know, different communities, like Sebastian, the school, that principal could have said, but we never teach our child blind. We had expertise. You know, we quick and train at the ball. We had the expertise. But it comes to that in the next situation. When you go learn it, when you get it, you know, it's come like the parents for the first time they never had a child before they say you're a parent for a child with a child for the first time. You have no experience and see what you must see, all kind of thing. But to say you don't have the experience, but you're gonna give it a shot. You're gonna try. And similarly, I mean, no matter how the lottery draw, you might end up with a child with a disability. But not the end of the world for you. Just how you feel proud to listen to Stevie Wonder music and so on. See it in the context. If God give me a child who is blind, maybe for a reason, and how I can make the best. If God give me that, you know, how to best serve God through this opportunity God give me then. If you're a God-fearing person, you see, you take from that context then, and you give it your best shot. And maybe that person, Helen Keller, was deaf and blind. And look at the contribution she made to the world. That she passed on years ago, but her contribution lives on up to this day. And it inspires so many deafblind people in the world that people would have written off. And they are contributing still. There's a gentleman that he's blind and, you know, deaf, not completely deaf, he uses hearing aid and so on. And I take on his program every Sunday. And his ability to read Braille is so important. The kind of, he reads like if it's a sighted person reading, and it shows that it is possible. You know, once you, whatever skills that you have, you use it to the best of your ability. And it went back again to parents. When he was small, his parents believed in him. And he always wanted to be a radio announcer as a child. He always had Braille books, you know, reading for his sisters and brothers and parents all the time. They must get tired, but by reading more and more, he got better and better at what he did. You know, his parents took him to, I mean, he played a recording with his child when he was in his childhood days, probably 5, 6 years or 4 years. And the station, the radio station in New Zealand, allowed him to touch all the mixer board and turn knobs and all that. And that excited him. And he always wanted, and he loved radio, you know, and he's a top-class journalist in New Zealand, a top-class advocate. So it goes back to that parent giving him that opportunity and believing in him to become whatever he wants to become. You know, and he reviews a lot of technology for the blind community because companies will just send across products for him to review. And he has his podcast of over 3,000-4,000 persons who are blind following him. Some radio station and Trinidad didn't have that listenership at one time. You know?
Sure, right.
And it's a blind person. You know, and that was so amazing. And you know, and just for myself, the mere fact when the internet was opened up to me, it changed my thinking. You know, and I started chatting with blind people all over the world, from India, Australia, New Zealand, Europe, America. And it gives you a whole new perspective on things. And I'm so happy to hear the achievement of Sebastian. And as I say, I remember Brian Lara's story when he made 277 and he came into the pavilion. Ron Kanai was the coach. He said, very good inning, man. But don't forget the next inning starts at 0. So Sebastian hopefully should be moving on to A levels, but those grades going to start from 0 again. So he has to reset himself and get in for another inning.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to send off the shared link here, Ken, to the different broadcasts now. So you talk about the parent confidence in the child, right? And sometimes we have issues where, despite all the confidence they have in the child, you know, it just doesn't seem to be adding up for them sometimes. And the point I want to bring is, sometimes we say we have confidence in our children, but we have confidence with our level of holding back. Yeah, I know you could do it, but I feel like it's the right thing for you to do.
Right.
You understand? We need to develop the attitude that whatever you think, whatever your child believes they can do, as long as it's positive, encourage it and support them. They may feel, nothing is wrong with feeling. I think it was I don't know if it was Mike Tyson or Michael Jordan, one of those sports persons said how many shots he missed before he became so popular. So yeah, I think it was Michael Jordan.
But what about Thomas Edison? Thomas Edison said
Yeah,
1,000 times he failed in making a light bulb, but he said he didn't fail. He said he learned 1,000 ways how not to make a light bulb.
yeah, exactly.
So it's how you see it, either the glass half full or half empty.
And that's what parents need to understand. They need to understand that your child may fail, but don't judge your child by the failure that they may have now.
But Larry, sometimes failure is the best lesson,
Yeah.
You check in most of the time how people deal. Not everybody know to deal with failures, and sometimes failure is a good thing.
No, I agree.
Yeah, it is a very good thing, because then you have, sometimes you might see a child doing something, but you know it can go work, but you watch them and allow it not to work. You don't leave them alone, and then you engage in conversation after. In the Gita, for the whole first chapter, Lord Krishna didn't talk to Arjuna at all, after you're whining and griping and all kind of thing, or you fight and all kind of thing. It's from the second chapter. He said, and the reason why that you have to make sure Arjuna empty the vessel before you get full back. You can't put good wine in old thing now. So so you have to make sure you empty him of his issues he had. And then one the terrain was good for planting. He started planting so you get better fruits there. And the same way with children. So a lot of these books that people read, something you have to learn how to apply it in real life then.
See,
you wouldn't go and show off and say, I know, sometimes people could just say, I tell you so. And then go. Yeah.
And again, sometimes we say, sometimes you need to cross the bridge yourself, or you need to earn to learn. These kind of slogans. And this is kind of negative thing to me. I will tell Gabriel, don't do that. He said, Dad, let me see now. I said, all right, you go ahead, brother, you do it. I mean, I wouldn't allow my children.
Right, with supervision, if you see based on the risk and the return. If the return is greater than the risk, you allow it.
Exactly. But I wouldn't allow my children to go and do something that would endanger themselves.
Exactly.
Now, if they insist that I will have to point out the dangers, all the negatives, or all the disadvantages, why you shouldn't do it. But you wouldn't get me going ahead and doing that, so. But I will give them a level of flexibility. You understand? To do what they have to do. But parents sometimes hold back, and I see that sighted children, I see that quote unquote normal children. Yeah. I see,
and that would normally not that would worry me.
Well, quote unquote.
Right?
I see that other children who is not blind. Let me put it this way. Other children who is like my children.
Yeah.
As far as we know, there is no other disability or no other issues with them, right?
Right. Yeah.
And the way the parents and grandparents will treat them and son, don't go there. Princess, come this side. Don't go there. This kind of thing. And
so, what you feel
allow them to explore and develop.
Yeah, but what you feel caused the fear, but I could see from this context long ago as children.
Information from the adults.
Okay,
they don't know any better themselves, so they're fearful too.
No, but I see it in another context as growing up as me, as a low vision person, all over the place in my area.
Yeah.
I didn't have no supervision. So nearly everything you do is at your own risk. Nowadays, I mean, you take it now, your children, you know where they are all the time.
Yeah.
Long ago, you would have jumped on your bike before you started losing your sight and all riding all over the place. Going so, coming so, parents they were confident that the place safe then.
Mm-hmm.
So most of your decision making was on your own and nobody to influence it. You might probably climb a tree, and for the first time you didn't know this kind of tree, the branches break easy. You climb on the dumpling, break out, and you fall long. Because they have a saying long time, what is death for crapo is joke for school children, something like that. What is joke for school children is death for crapo.
Yeah, what is
And that was a
school trend, dead crapo.
Death for crapo. And that was a serious statement. You know, I listened to Morgan Job saying that time, he say, them horsing around. And he pushed somebody off a bridge. You know, and they fall in the river. A bridge now, they fall inside the river. As children are you horsing around. You don't see the danger in it then. I know sometimes they say like God, I just want to tell you, God will protect children, and sometimes God will protect children, stupid people and blind people. You know? No, I tell you, if you try the kind of things, you go back as a child where you did. If it go the other way, but it's a real problem.
Sure, right.
So I don't know if it's because of the high level of supervision we have now contributing to it. I don't know. But
Okay, what's up?
you know, without
No.
yeah, you know, so yeah, so at that high level of supervision, then I don't know if that contributed and children not on their own to make is a do or die decision sometimes. Sometimes going in pond to swim and thing. When you look back, by more children are drunk.
No, it's true. It's true.
You understand?
But go back to the question you asked, why did not allow children to do what they do? Is it, as you rightly said, the fear? And I'm saying is the fear of not knowing the unknown. Now, okay, I know the dangers of a pond, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't carry Gabriel by a pond, or I wouldn't carry him by a river. I will still carry him, but I'll show him and try to explain the dangers and let him know why you shouldn't do why you shouldn't be diving in a river.
You shouldn't dive in a pond, nothing yet.
Diving in a pond. You know, I'll explain those things to him and let me sure you understand, because I know one day to come, the little fella will run away.
Yeah.
And you go to the partner by the river and you go by the pond, and he must know from small his daddy tell him to jump in pond because you can stick and you go drown.
Yeah.
Go dive, you don't know what having it, brown water brown.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's the point I'll bring in.
And one of the simplest things I said, don't dive in thing you can't see.
All that.
See, because you dive in a place, the water murky, you know what underneath and you dive in it.
But it goes back to what we're talking about with giving children confidence. If we as adults we ourselves don't know. And
is it confidence or giving them to teach them to think analytically or to analyze?
That come with confidence, Ken. If you don't give your child that level of what the word is,
no, the opportunity to think and the confidence will come. You understand? The foundation for confidence is that ability to think through things, to process it. And after a while, you'll be thinking so quickly, people feel, well, hey, how you do that so fast? Because the human brain is so amazing. Larry, sometimes you see it for yourself, sometimes give you a little worries and or trouble or something. And you might be walking up, probably come to work in your car and so on. And the answer just pops up at the end. You want to know, but I wasn't thinking about that, how the answer appear. It's because how the human mind is wired, if you're wired properly, and you leave it to do its work. Yeah. It is an amazing piece of, one of the best computer in the world, or the best computer in the world.
1 second, Ken.
Yeah.
So you have to share YouTube link for me.
It's coming up on YouTube, okay, so?
That's how the Facebook live drop off, but coming live on YouTube.
Okay.
Share the YouTube link for me, please. Yeah, so once you share the YouTube link for me, I'll share it back around to everybody, because it looks like the Facebook cut off when we select YouTube. I don't know why the two not going together.
No, but the experiment we just know.
Yeah. So because it's live on YouTube, so it's live somewhere.
I think some people will be live on Instagram and into, I don't know. I see some people talking about there are so many different social media live.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
But we were discussing the issue with confidence and giving the child that confidence, and you say it's not confidence, but is Analytical thinking.
Right, that will give you the confidence and the ability for you to think through things. So
Mhm.
because you have to be careful, confident, some trend you want to know everything. But the child must be trained their mind in a certain way that how they teach people and how they also gather information to make decision. Because sometimes people don't make a bad decision and they make a decision based on sometimes the information you have. You know, because sometimes you may not have all the information and they make a decision. And some people say, but what kind of stupid decision you're making there? But I mean, yes, some people make stupid decision, even though they have all the information, but it is subject to all the information that they gather through the senses then. So that ability to think, to gather information, and you know, in all the military books that you read, reconnaissance sometimes take more time than go into action. So similarly with the child, how you train or teach, you start with that, observe, you know, the same thing like in science.
Yeah.
And you think through things, and after a while, you start to see things differently because you're taking in you know, as much information as possible.
Let's try and set up this new link
Yeah.
I get here.
Yeah.
But Ken, how do we transfer or move that level of confidence to the beyond the academic life?
And that is the key question. We in Trinidad, we have an education system that is designed for memory. And it's not designed for critical thinkers. Because we know a lot of people who probably didn't do well at school academically, but they level to think and analyze things, who probably mason, probably into mechanic, probably landscape, and whatever it is.
Mhm.
They may not have done, because we believe success in life is having PhD and all kind of thing. And I disagree. I feel success in life is being happy. You understand?
I agree.
I you know, let me say, look at fishing in Trinidad. Everybody complaining the Gulf and no fish, no fish, no fish. But if people were truly educated and see how the ecosystem works, small fish when they catch them, they throw them back out in the sea. Certain things in the ecosystem that are maintained so that they catch will always be there. So the ocean becomes sustainable instead of we have an overfishing, and that comes from education. You know, just like in agriculture, whatever you're doing, how do you look at the ecosystem? Sometimes people only see it from their level in a boat with an engine, but they don't see that they are part of a larger ecosystem then.
And again, it comes with information and knowledge, and as you rightly say, they're knowledgeable about the ecosystem. Because just yesterday we was having a discussion. We were talking about snakes and rats and so on, right?
Right, yeah.
And I remember we were saying sometime back we carried the children who were blind to the zoo and thing. And the zookeeper who was feeding the snake threw a rat into the snake cage or containment section or whatever they call it. And the snake didn't immediately reactate.
Right.
And the rat went around and then the zookeeper catch it back and he killed it and he threw it back in dead.
Yeah.
So we asked the question, why did he do that? He said, because if we leave the rat living and if the snake wasn't hungry, he would eat it. And eventually tomorrow you might get up, come here and either see a dead snake or a dead rat.
Right.
The rat would have killed the snake because the snake wasn't interfere the rat. And the point I was making yesterday is that it was only the human race they skill more than they really need, you know.
Yeah.
Destroy more than they really need.
Yeah.
Made that point to talk about the fishing and ecosystem you just mentioned.
Yeah.
If people catch what they need alone, then we don't have a problem.
Yeah.
But you have people going out to fish for sports, you know. I mean, I have been part of those trips already. You're going out there for fun, but you want to pull full 3-4 cooler. You can't eat 5 pounds of fish in 2 weeks, but you want about 25 pounds of fish.
Right.
You know, and I say you to give it away or share it or something, you know.
But it's still greedy. You're greedy. You're eating more than the ocean could produce. What are going to happen?
Besides,
it's not sustainable.
More.
Yeah.
The size of the catch sometimes are so small, it would throw in back.
Right.
You know, but it don't make sense. But they leave it, but you see, we don't see ourselves as individuals making a contribution. We see ourselves as individuals too small to make a difference. And we don't understand collectively, all of us making a difference one by one will make it significant change. Because we always see ourselves as an individual, not as a group of human beings who making a difference.
You know, we see it, there's a symbol like politics. Sometimes when you add up the UNC vote or the PNM vote collectively, sometimes if people were really convinced the other group they could win election, and a lot of people say, "By me gonna vote by them go win." You understand? But
Yeah.
and people don't put add value to you see this vote I have partner. This vote means a lot to me, and I'm gonna cast it based on what I wanted. You know, and it will show you that how your one contribution could it has a multiplier effect.
We need to find a way to ensure and to continue to promote positive development for our people who are blind or visually impaired. Because when they finish school, Ken, all we're saying here is about the adults to educate the adults.
Yeah.
So that they could then pass it on to the youth and the younger people. Because when these children finish school, what's next? Where are they going to be employed? Not in the same community and society we live in it. Isn't it that they're supposed to be employed here? And if not, why are we educating them?
Is your point?
Why are we investing all this time, energy, resources, money to educate persons? Isn't it to allow them a level of independence and allow them some level of dignity?
Yeah.
And I asked the question in the context, if you wanted for your child who could see, or your brother, or your sister, or your nephew, niece, aunt, aunt, uncle, whoever it may be, why not for a child who has a disability? Why shouldn't they be employed, especially more so if they are qualified?
Yeah.
Because the mere fact that they become qualified, it should tell you their determination is higher than the average person.
Yeah.
Because you and I went Costard, you know what it is like to go to school and nobody helping you. I remember a time in Costard and you telling me, so you go to the group boy. I said,
nobody in the group.
2 and more is a group, you and I is a group. We talking about we do the question ourselves.
Yeah, nobody in the group. Why didn't nobody see us as a liability?
Exactly, but they didn't know combined we had about 50 years of experience behind us.
Yeah, but you know, even though we also met some nice people who just our blindness was secondary to them. So
exactly.
I don't want people go away with the sense that
But what I'm saying is that I'm making a point, and I don't want people to lose the message. The message I'm bringing is the mere fact that somebody with a disability qualify themselves. It tells you how much determination and confidence and self-preservation, I should say, to the mind self-preservation to the mind, because it's really a torturous thing sometimes. How much they would have endured and they would have allowed themselves to conquer, to beat, to reach where they are. And you should want somebody like that in your workplace.
But I remember reading this book with Dr. Jacob Bolton, first blind doctor in America. And the challenges he went through, the kind of effort he had to make to get the organ and 3D images for him for his parents again, that they help him and so on.
Yeah.
And he succeeded. And I was asked the question, why is only in places like America I could hear a Helen Keller, a Jacob Bolton, a Stevie Wonder, you know, and so many other. Why it is only in a nation like America? Why it is? I mean, I see like India coming on stream now, and well, in England, you know, is it because these nations probably were independent longer than Trinidad? I don't know. I'm trying to understand why did most of our blind people who did well had to leave Trinidad. Like I said, Charlie is one. I mean, most of us we find work serving the blind community. He went there and he was serving sighted people.
Now you make a point early on in the show. You say it's like a chicken and egg situation. When would we get it right?
Yeah.
And until we don't get out of the egg and become the chicken, then we'll continue to be in the egg and want to be a chicken. And
Right.
that's the problem. Now, if you look at America and other developed countries,
Yeah.
they are chickens. They are not no egg. So when you go there, that is why people have to leave Trinidad and go these developed countries and become successful. Because the mindset of the people is not an egg mindset.
You know, like Sebastian's success is big media story in Trinidad. That in the States, that don't make news because they expect you to do well.
Definitely so, and we must. And so this is the point I was
You know,
bringing earlier
that
on.
big news in Trinidad, but I not know news in
5,
America.
10 years from now, I hope that these success cases is not what we're looking for as big news.
It mustn't be news. No.
We must be hearing about persons like Sebastian and others developing some kind of great invention.
Doing something to impact on humanity to make the world a better place.
Exactly. To make
So,
life
you know,
and
contributing to
living better for
global
everybody.
warming, solving global warming, or some kind of thing.
You know, come some cure for some kind of problem.
Yeah, because now with simulation and so on, you could simulate so many things on the computer then.
But until that time, you know, highlighting these children's success is what is required to develop to another level. So we can motivate more and more persons to understand that they can do it. You know, when I played the video in the beginning of it, he said, you got to, which word he use, don't procrastinate. You know, you have to have determination.
But yeah, you mean to say get it done, but you know, there are some, I mean, that might work for them. There are some students, they will procrastinate and they bomb should get it. So every human student different there. Some people operate different.
But he's saying that to the students, but can, I mean, I've been very honest, if being visually impaired, that's why the best advice you can give a visually impaired person.
Because you can't. Because remember, look for a lot of tell people sometimes as a visually impaired person, if you say for instance to get up to go to school in the morning, you gotta sit down and plan so many things, partner. Where somebody who could see they get up, dash the band, and go on. Just coming to work alone. All the things you have to put in place. That alone is you have to think, oh, this how I getting this sort out, clothes, match, getting a taxi to go to. When you think about all of this, drag your blanket on your head and sleep, you know.
Because it is, and to some people, it is our overwhelming thought. And to others, it's a way of life, it's a natural thing. Some people born with their disability, and that's all they know. They don't know anything else. So like people used to ask me, you see other trouble when you was in school or what? I say, well, not really. All I know to use is a magnifying glass. Of course, I'm using that from phone.
That's the whole point.
But
remember, they see it from their point of view.
Exactly. But if you ask me now, I think that contributes to my slouching and so on, because I used to be bending over a lot.
And I remember somebody was talking about with his dad about looking at the workflow of his son, and he'd create a design. And I'm certain Ministry of Education, Ministry of Education should immediately ask him, you want to see a prototype of this?
You see,
understand?
They're not interested in that, Kenneth.
Yeah.
They're interested in document. So I want to bring into the discussion another child parent I was chatting with today. And the child parent told me, say, you know, when the child went into the school for the first time, the Ministry of Education came in and they talk about all these plans and how they want to prepare and everything, all the textbook, and I call it textbook answers, all the textbook concepts and answers you could think about and how to prepare and make sure
those are scripted answers.
Everything. And I listened to the parent and she said, you know, I was so impressed and I was so hopeful that, you know, her child was going to get through this and so on. So only to realize now it is not what they were seeing in the beginning. But one thing I fell short of telling the parent was that is procedural.
Yes.
What they do there,
or like you always say in school, you learn the ideal.
But not the real.
Not the real. When you come out to the real world, what you learn in school, so probably you don't use it.
You feel,
I don't even saw my statement. Ciberano asked me to give a statement from blind with a point of view, and I showed when a child who's blind succeed, when you check all the adversities they have to overcome. One, no reason. Imagine the department in the Ministry of Education for the disabled get less than 20% funding. That is one thing. So two, resources to develop concepts. So you don't even get that and train teachers. You don't even have that and take all that and you still succeed, partner. I find that in itself is a miracle.
Yeah. And so I point out bringing is, do feel the technocrats in the Ministry of Education don't know that they should have I forget the term they use for the desk, ergonomics.
Ergonomics, yeah.
Ergonomics, right? Proper ergonomics for the design of a desk so that a child shouldn't be slouching forward and bending and for long hours. Don't feel them don't know that. They know that. But like everything else, does it impact sufficiently enough to cause change? And the answer is no, and we're too selfish. If it was let's say I am in a position of power and affecting my child, then of course I see everything that is necessary to fix.
Yeah.
But my child is being affected, my family is being affected, and that's how selfish we are. So they don't see it as a priority. And they will come and call me tomorrow after listening to this show and tell me, oh, all they can be saying that because it's not so, I don't understand. The hell with what I don't understand. What I understand is that there's a billions of dollars spending in the ministry, and the persons or the children with disabilities not benefiting from it. True.
They're not getting, but I'm gonna write. I mean, I put this. I'm gonna write the Minister of Finance. I know they're gonna read budget, and I want them to either legislate it or something that the special ed department in Ministry of Education must get a full funding, 100%. Whatever you see, what the rest is all a problem.
Another reason
I see the legislate for Tobago. Tobago gets even 5 or 6% of the national budget. I am happy for that. But when it comes to, we want a similar arrangement for the Department for Special Education. Give them the full 100% funding.
Imagine you have systems where students' exams were not submitted for correction. Students show up as absent while sitting on an exam. Oh my Lord, in this day and age, you telling me these things still happening? No, man, it shouldn't. And then you putting these children through, whether blind-sighted or indifferent, you putting them through 5 or 6 years of severe concentration and studies, then to come at the end of it all and tell me that you didn't submit or they didn't get the exam or the person show up absent. And in order to query it now, Kenneth, you have to pay. You're being penalized for their incompetence. So now you have to pay to get the query done.
But let me say,
wait a few months for that results while
and if the query is correct, do you get back your money?
I don't know. I didn't go so far to find out, because the first place where I get any money to query it.
Yeah.
It is relevant to me if I get any money. If that's the case, just query it and done.
That's all. Somebody put a query. Do the query. Get it done. What does prevent you from doing it?
Criteria to determine the requirements for queries.
Yeah.
So they could say what they want, and I know they'll attack me tomorrow and they'll tell me, oh, you don't know, I don't understand. But I'm saying, until it will affect people directly, they don't have a special interest, Ken.
Exactly.
They don't. Because, I mean, we're talking about the success of this young man, but there's others who may not have had the exposure that he got. It could be for many reasons why they don't have it. Family circumstances, it could be financial support,
where you're born is a lottery, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes where you're born, the lottery ticket wasn't the winning one, you know.
And that sometimes hinders children progress.
Yes.
It could be the medical condition, it could be
all kind of things.
All kind of things. But at the end of the day, everybody has the ability to progress and become whatever they want to be. And parents need, I mean, while we want stories like what we have today to motivate children, we must also have stories where parents must understand that an examination no make or break your child.
No.
This one examination don't do that. Because I'm telling your partner, if that was the plan or that was the case, I wouldn't be where I is today.
Yeah.
You know, I would exam and pass one subject.
Mhm.
And if that would have determined my future, then I wouldn't be here.
Right.
But it didn't stop me. And according to Sebastian, he had the determination, and I had it, and I went back. Same thing Sebastian saying.
Yeah, that passion, boy. And that's a
Uh-huh.
word that I was using these days. People might experience and they might have the academic, but how many people have the passion just to teach? There's some people just like teaching, like Mr. Truman. That man had a passion for teaching.
I don't know what they have. I don't know. I don't want to cast aspersions as I have been doing in the past. But we need to understand that the almighty dollar isn't everything. Don't get into a field if you don't like it. Don't do it. Because you're doing an injustice to the people you're serving. And there's a lot of people who wants to become teachers, and their real goal is to become something else. But teacher job is they qualify and they can get work and get some money to survive, and to hell with everything else.
But like I see people have more money now because I mean I still have some idea about prior to oil boom days then.
Yeah.
And I am telling you, people had less than and they were more happy. People have more money now and they're more unhappy.
Ken, but we saw that in the workshop in South.
Yeah.
It was in a whole broken down Ramban.
Yeah.
People were more united and more happy, and we got more done.
Yeah.
By the time you bring them and you put them into AC and you had them in a nice, comfortable state, everything just fall apart. It's like there was no appreciation for the past.
Yeah.
And it just fall apart. We see it now. So it happens. And I was listening to some radio announcers this morning on radio, and they say we probably need to review that term called progress.
Exactly.
Progress a positive thing or a negative thing?
What do you mean by progress? And I still believe progress is measure the level of happiness. And happiness is not something to be pursued. Happiness is something to be.
Yeah. What? Go easy, Tiger.
No, because some people believe are pursuing this then. When I do this, I go settle down. But when I do that, we wait for that for. It's one to be sure already be born to that.
Yeah.
So why is anybody pursuing that?
Try and be happy in the moment.
Just enjoy the moment. That is all. And that's what I'm saying. Long time we should be in the moment.
Yeah.
We feel to sip something, you know, and that long time, anything you wanted, you had to ship up to buy it.
I remember this passion and say, give me $1, you have $2, give me $2. You go and buy some corn. And when you're done and they come back with the corn, with your $2, you wasn't getting 2 pieces of corn, you know.
This is my point, the multiplier effect.
The multiplier effect, but with everybody add up and they go and they come back. Everybody get 2 pieces of corn, boiled corn.
Yeah. And you drop some corn to boil and you had a camaraderie then. People breaking bread together then.
But nowadays, you ask them, so why you go and buy that? You get more money. It wasn't about who getting more money, who getting less money. It was about, as you say, breaking bread together.
Yeah.
The camaraderie.
Yeah, that. Like even our Christmas party in work used to be bigger than what Blind guys have. You had plenty of everything there. Yeah, and most of my men would have $20 or $30, you know.
So all what we're saying here is basically to the ends, you know, it's really about diversifying and inclusion. It's about showing that persons who may be blind or disabled, you know, their determination and their efforts to be as successful as they are will transcend into their work ethics and will transcend into their attitude for life and for society and camaraderie. And if people recognize that, then they will understand that employing, you know, we was making a point today on your radio program, Ken. We really only want one blind person in our village, because if you have more than one,
but you're not even talking stripping, but
that's statement. Yeah. But why can't we have one person who's blind that is qualified? I ain't talking about no handout.
Yeah.
I'm talking qualified persons who are blind that is out there, employed, one in every ministry. Why not? Or why can't we have one qualified person who is blind employed in every major private sector company throughout Trinidad? Or why can't we have one person who's blind that is qualified in every single commercial bank or financial institution? One, just one. We need to put them in every branch. We say one. Ken, if you have that, Do you know
So you solve your
employment
grand,
will
you solve
not
your grand
be a
problem.
problem?
You solve your grand problem. Because
You solve
even
your
Ministry of
grand
Social
problem.
Development,
You solve your
you-
employment problem. You might solve your productivity problem, because I'm telling you, these people who qualify, they will come with a level of determination and work ethics to
yeah,
get it done, to prove themselves, to keep on proving themselves, and they will show that they can do it.
and also your workforce become much more empathetic, not sympathetic, much more empathetic, because yes, they're going to reach out and help, and also yes, the person who's blind will also help in certain ways. So after a little while, that person who's blind, they become his blindness or her blindness is almost non-existent.
But it's going to lift the value of the
Company,
company and the employees,
yes,
because they will now would have enjoyed the experience of working with somebody with a disability or who's blind, and learning about how to deal and treat with persons who are blind or with disabilities, and,
you know,
and then develop that empathetic concept or state of mind rather than sympathetic.
you know, we went out on a excursion on Saturday, and I mean, we tracking that for nearly 30 years.
Mhm.
And it seemed like you're losing the purpose, because one of the questions which one of the bus you come with? You know, immediately, in my mind, if we started saying 30 years and blind people come on bus, I tell them, I say, so why did blind people can't pull up with their own vehicle? You understand my point?
How you say?
You know, he started backpedal, you know,
Yeah,
because you know, you get caught out,
yeah.
because his perception is which one of the buses you come with.
Because
You
it's still
understand?
seeing
Yeah,
persons who are blind as in the charity mode.
yeah.
They're still seeing that, and we need to stop seeing. I was telling Mr. Ravu, right? I could call his name. I know
Yeah.
I have no doubt I could call his name.
Mm.
I say, when they ask somebody to talk, and well, asked me to speak and whatever, my objective was not to talk about hampers and white cane.
Exactly.
My concept was to talk about futuristic, diversifying,
Yeah.
equity,
Yeah.
inclusion across
Yeah.
the board, and to sell the idea. Because if we still going with it, I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, people, don't get me wrong, that everybody's up to mark and everybody's good. What I'm saying is, if we don't hold high expectations for ourselves, how could we expect somebody else to do it?
Yeah.
And if we in our own community do expect our own brothers and sisters to become better than where we are, where they are, or be as good as anybody else, then why should we expect people outside our community to hold us in our expectations?
But like I just put it like in Columbus days. When Columbus sailed, he had the expectation he would find land, even though there was no evidence, he had nothing to base it on or nothing. He stepped onto this boat, and if you see the kind of boat with a long time, no other people might want to sail in it. And he had an expectation, similarly like persons who are blind. That is a journey. You can't limit the thinking that this fella could be holding a bowl on the side of the road. You understand? If that is your thinking, and most sometimes based on the excursion, when they still want to give you a bread and cheese and a minute or some food,
Yeah.
then they take it to the next level of be according to Maslow, beyond food, clothing, and shelter. Then the higher needs. Then
I remember, Ken, I participated in a workshop with I think it was Nichols. I can't remember the organization name now, right? And it was about developing concepts and how to help design safe, inclusive play parks for children who are blind, together with children who are not blind.
yeah, I think Australia has one of them. Yeah,
Right? So that was the concept. Now, this was recently back in 2006 or 7 I'm talking about, right?
right.
When I participated in this. And in them days, audiobooks was something that was now coming out in Trinidad.
Right.
It wasn't so popular.
Right.
And the lady who was coordinating the whole event, and when I was there, her gift to me wasn't a hamper, it wasn't clothing, it wasn't something that signified a person who is blind but in need then.
Right.
It was a gift that signified a person who is blind, but is developing. You know,
Right.
she purchased the audio book in CD format for me, original,
Right.
as my gift.
Right.
The Secret by Rhonda Burns.
The boss man, yeah.
Remember
Yeah.
we read that book?
We talk a lot about that, yeah.
Yeah, and when I started listening to that on CD, because then there's no flash drive with CD listening to.
Yeah.
And I started listening to that book, I said, what this book is really about. It take me a second reading to understand the book.
Yeah.
And that's the point I was bringing. If these people didn't have high expectations, they saw that a person like myself can do better. And they invested by buying something that they saw could help me improve my life.
Right.
They didn't go and buy food that I eat today and excrete it tomorrow.
Right.
It wasn't about it. Give me something
But it
that I would
brought something
use for the
to
rest of my
develop your
life.
mind.
Exactly.
And again, what's in our Saturday excursion was about the physical need then. It wasn't about the mental and spiritual level then.
And we need to demand from our organization, when you come in to work with us, come and work with us with the expectation that we will be developing our minds for the future. We're not developing ourselves for tomorrow. It's for the rest of our lives to develop ourselves. And long as I think like that, the rewards or the support will reflect that.
Yeah.
But we continue to reflect this charity mode thing, people going to come to give us support and help for tomorrow alone, and not for the rest of our lives. Ken, it's minutes to 8 and we're coming to the end.
Right.
Any final words, comments?
Well, my final words is the whole country that who write the exam, and if you're moving forward, whether in the academic field, your next exam starts at 0. So put in effort again, go back to the drawing board. There are some people who not academically inclined, but you could get involved in the service industry. And I talk about the restaurant, you could be a top class chef. So you could be you could work as a mason, whatever field you choose. Mine mean just do something that you enjoy, that you like, and just be happy and don't pursue happiness.
All right, so as we close off, I just want to say congratulations to everyone who would have received their results. Whether you got all distinctions or all 1s or all 2s or all 3s or all 4s or all 5s, whatever you got, it's irrelevant in the scheme of things because you still have a lot of years ahead of you. Don't let this one exam determine who you are and where you become, because it doesn't really do that. Most times when you go for a job, and you go to school and you go to university, you come out with something called a grade point average, GPA. And you must have over 2.0, I think it is, Ken, in your GPA. But nobody ever asks you, where's your GPA in school? They want to see where you work, where you contributed to, what you helped develop, which programs you build. That's what they want to see. They want to see what you have in your head. They don't want to see what you did when you was going to school. So don't let no exams, whether tertiary, secondary, or primary, determine who you are. If you didn't make it now, you have a chance to make it again.
We know somebody who failed exam and became an appeal court judge in Trinidad, and now he's an employee of the world.
Yeah.
And if that person failed exam,
I know. And he progressed, he was determined, and he went back out there. So guys, thank you very much. Until next week again.
Yeah.
All the best. Please share the live. Please share the video.